Okay.
Hi everybody, I am Vita with Fix This along with Brandon Coppins from Thrifty Chic Home, and today we are going to show you how to make a moss hanging planter basket.
That's right.
It's beautiful. I love this.
It
and
is.
Now is the time, and these aren't very expensive, and they spread.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. As long as you choose the right ones, and we're going to talk about that. You have to choose the right plants because they have different. Every plant has different requirements for sun and water, and so you want to choose the plants that will grow and spill over, and also the ones that need the same light and water requirements.
Okay, so start out with this. You can get this at your garden center, at any garden center really, and these are just wonderful. I love how like the moss just kind of hangs over.
Yeah.
You could possibly make your own too, right?
You could,
if
yeah.
You've got some moss and stuff, but I think it's probably a little easier to get it pre-made because they really have it smushed in there.
It is, and these really for $24.99. I mean, that's not really a bad price because you would, if you bought just the wire form by itself, you'd probably be close to that price already. So it's
better to get it ready. And then what did you put inside?
Potting soil.
Okay.
And it's just, this is actually, I brought a smaller bag.
Okay.
So this isn't the kind you want to use.
Okay, so let's do this.
Yeah, so we'll turn it.
Don't get that.
Yeah, I
But
transferred it to a smaller bag.
Got it,
yeah.
got it. Okay.
So what we've got here is just a potting soil that's meant for containers. So just make sure when you're choosing soil that it says for containerized plants.
Perfect.
Containers.
That's good. That's good. So and then potting soil, because there's stuff inside here already that's going to be good for the plants.
Exactly.
When you plant them.
And it's nice and light and fluffy,
It
and that's really
is.
what you want.
All right. So and then over there you've got some fertilizer. I figured that's. Do we wait until the end on the fertilizer?
Yeah, we can talk about that later, but really it's so crucial with hanging baskets because when you water them, you flush everything out. You know, plants in the ground, their roots can kind of find nutrients, but with the basket, you know, the roots are limited to that space, and you're watering it so much more than plants in the ground that you wash all those nutrients out. So fertilizer is key. It's really important.
All right, and so what do we have here? You've got some great flowers. Depending on where you put your planter, you want to get the specific. Because it's in the sun at all times. You got to get sun-friendly plants.
Exactly,
It's
and
in the
these
shade.
are all
Shade?
exactly.
So what's
you
this
wanna
for?
Take a look. This is it's called a super petunia, and it's a trailing petunia. Now a lot of people don't know. They go to the garden center, they see petunias, they think they're all going to spill out and trail over like you see those big glorious baskets, but they don't. Only certain ones will do that.
Okay.
So make sure you check the plant tag. It will tell you if it's a trailing petunia or not.
Okay, and so we want to get the trailing?
Exactly.
Okay.
When in doubt, you can always ask the people in the garden center. They'll just say you want a trailing plant or trailing plants, and they'll send you to the right section of the plants that actually trail. Trailing meaning it will grow and hang down over the side, which is what you want for this kind of thing.
And this says full to part sun. So you want to make sure you get specific to full and part sun and see how it's going to hang over, but you're saying it's going to even grow out.
Oh yeah, these will grow about 3 feet down.
Wow.
So every time I grow these, I end up with huge, beautiful, glorious flowers by the end of the summer.
Love that.
Yeah.
And the bees love them too.
The bees do love them.
I know.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what you want to do first. So we've got these. What about these right here? Because I know people are going to always ask.
Bacopa,
Oh, these
that's
are
called.
pretty.
Aren't they beautiful?
Yeah.
Now, Bacopa is great. It blooms better when it's a little cooler at night. So right now you'll get a lot of great bloom out of it. And then when we get into like July and August, it'll slow down a little bit, but it will still continue to grow. And then in the fall, you'll get a resurgence of bloom because it likes that cooler weather. So that's Bacopa.
Okay, sounds good. And then over here?
That is called Dichondra. It's also
Dichondra.
called Silver Falls.
Oh, it's pretty.
And this will kind of fill in and it will hang down.
Okay.
And that doesn't actually bloom. That's just for the foliage.
That is really pretty. And then this right here?
That is Verbena.
Okay.
And it's trailing Verbena. Now Verbena, just like petunias, some of it just grows upright and it will stay small. Others, like this one, will actually trail.
Okay.
And this one's lanai.
Okay.
But Proven Winners, the one that makes this one, also makes a verbena, and it's called Superbena, and that will also trail. So just make sure you see trailing on the tag as its growth habit.
And like I said, just go to your expert at your garden center and say, hey, I'm making a basket, I want to, and you could probably research it on your phone though too, like you could go and find something you like and do a little research to see how it's going to fill out on Google on your phone. Okay, so tell me how you want to start planting this.
Okay, so with this, the fuller the better, really.
Okay,
you really want to cram it in there.
Really?
And I know that sounds counterintuitive because usually you're told to space plants out in the ground, But with baskets, you want to cram them.
Okay.
Like, the more crowded, the better.
And do you want to like space it out? Like,
Yeah, I like to do that. I like to do that.
Like, do you like to break it up, or do you like to keep a bunch of them in the same area and then do some more of this over here? You know, or can you just decide the way you like it?
You know, yeah, it really depends
decide?
on your preference.
Okay.
I really like to see them really evenly distributed.
Yeah.
Because then when it all grows out, then
Okay.
you, no matter where you look, you see it represented. So if we did something, this is what I like to do. I like to kind of set it in the basket first before I plant it,
Okay.
just to see how I like it. So we can put these
So put
around.
those in here. Yeah.
And this will give us an idea of what it's going to look like, and we can
Yeah.
change it up. So we have one yellow here. Maybe we'll do
This right here.
yeah.
So we've got some different
I've got that guy up
verbena
front.
here in the middle.
Perfect.
Does that seem about it? Like it's full enough?
Oh
or
no,
do you
we're
wanna-
putting all of these. We're gonna cram it.
What?
I know it sounds crazy.
You're crazy.
I know. But trust me, the more crammed, the better.
All right. There we go.
And then we got one more, so we'll maybe
so
put
how many
him back
plants total
here.
do you have in here? Did you count them?
Let's see, we've got, what do we have, 12?
I think you have them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It looks
12,
like,
okay.
yeah. And see, look at how full it already looks.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's the
so
nice
pretty.
thing
Yeah,
about cramming
yeah.
is you get this full instant, and it's just gonna keep filling and growing.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me. Now
Okay.
we've got it in. Do we just take them out and put it in? Take them out, put them in, or do we take
Exactly.
them all out?
Now it's just, yeah, actually, probably what we want to do is take them all out.
And kind of put them where
It'll
you
be
had
easier.
them.
Yeah.
So kind of right around the same side, kind of so you know where they go.
We just want
So
them
we'll put
evenly
them right
distributed
here.
Now, one of the important things too that we didn't cover earlier is you want to soak this in water
Okay.
prior. I didn't do it because it's going to be really messy here. But at home, put this, if you have a big sink, put it in the sink and soak it for a
Okay, so
while.
you
'Cause
soak the
want it
moss,
nice
the whole
and wet.
thing,
Exactly.
and then fill it up to about this height, so you have
Yep.
enough room for your new
Exactly.
plants.
Soak it first with moss before you put the soil in it.
Okay.
Then put some moistened soil in there and
Okay.
fill it up to about here.
Okay.
And then that way you have room to plant all of your
All right.
your
How long do you
plants.
want it soaking? Does it matter?
Just until it's like really wet, so not that long
Okay.
really, because it soaks up water really nicely.
So I'm taking it out.
And then once we're done planting, we'll talk about care.
Okay. So here we go. Do we want to lightly loosen up the?
You know, I like
roots, or
to
is
do
it-
that. There's a few different schools of thought. Some people say that plants don't like it, but you know, my plants all apparently love it, so I keep doing
They're
it.
doing so well.
They
So
are.
just kind of loosening up your roots, not really
Yeah.
breaking them too much, but just loosening.
If
right?
they're not spiral around, like if they look like they're already kind of loose, you don't need to bother with that.
Okay.
But if they are kind of spiraling around,
Yeah.
then you want to break them up, I
Okay.
think, because then it stops that spiraling.
So you'll
habit.
stop the spiral and then it can
Yeah.
go straight down in here. So we just put
We're
them.
gonna put it, and we're just gonna set them on top. Yep, because we've got all this
so we
soil
set-
to fill
okay.
in. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
So you've got one verbena there. Why don't we put this guy? See, like this one, for example, I wouldn't bother breaking up because it's already nicely kind of, it's not
Okay,
like
broke up a
root
little
bound.
bit so he can spread out. He or she.
He or she, yeah.
He or she. It. All right, here we go.
And to make sure you take the tags out,
Yeah.
because those are nice. I always save my tags for reference so I know what I grew
What
a
you're
year
doing,
prior.
yeah.
Lovely. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in here.
Right.
So you never.
Raquel, let us know if we're getting any questions, and let us know. No questions yet. We're answering all their questions.
good.
Let us know though where you're from, where you're watching from, and does anybody at home? Do you guys ever do this? Do you ever do a little?
Oh, Ryan just asked, why is it okay to cram baskets and not flower beds?
Okay, Ryan
That's a good
asked.
question. I'm just gonna put it back here. That's a very good question. It's not necessarily that it's an okay versus not okay thing.
So the question was, Ryan
Oh,
had
yeah.
asked, I know it's hard, they can't hear it there. Ryan had asked if it's okay why it's okay to cram in here if not in your flower garden.
Yes, and that's a very good question.
Good question.
And it's not necessarily a question about not being okay. When you're planting a flower bed, you have a lot more space.
Yeah.
So it's a better idea to space them out because then they can really grow to their full potential in a lot of space. But when you just got the very small amount of space, they can only grow so big anyway, so you just want to fill it up. And usually with flower beds, there's a lot of troubles when it comes to air circulation if you cram them too much. you won't have enough air circulation and you could get powdery mildew. But with a hanging basket, it's surrounded by air and it's
all
kind of
air.
blowing around,
Yeah.
so that's not really a concern.
And that's why we're saying it's really important you fertilize it, because it's just constantly dripping down. So you've
Exactly.
got, look how pretty that is.
Gorgeous. So I'm going to put a little more soil in here because this guy has a smaller root ball. So I'm just going to get a little bit of that soil in here so we can prop him up a little bit.
And as you're going, we're going to be adding some more of the soil right once it's all in, because it is really fitting in together, but there is space in between it once you kind of, you know.
Maybe we'll put him right here actually.
So it is a him.
Him, her.
Call your plant. Do you have names for your plants?
You know, I don't,
Okay.
but I might name this basket. I'm not sure what yet.
Yeah,
Something.
Vita.
Vita. This is Vita,
Vita.
the hanging basket.
For life. Okay. So while you're doing that, do you want me to start putting a
Yeah,
little
so
bit in?
start what you
Okay,
wanna
so would
do.
I normally have this wet?
Yes.
Okay, so this
normally
would
you would
be wet.
pre-moisten
Remember,
this.
pre-moisten everything. We don't really have an area where we can work in here that won't destroy the carpet. So
That's
we're
right.
we're gonna go post moisten.
Now, and it's okay if you don't pre-moisten it, if you don't want to get things messy, just make sure once you're done that you soak it really well.
Okay.
And I'm talking soak. I think a lot of people think they can just drizzle some water and that's enough, but no, you need to actually soak it. So you sit there with the hose and you put the hose on low and you just let it kind of go through for a good, like maybe 15 minutes, like a long time.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about care. So once you hang the basket up, you need to care for it. Now you want to make sure you put it in a spot that has, if the plants need full sun, then make sure the spot you're putting in gets at least 6 hours of direct full sun a day.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Now if you're doing shade, that, you know, it just depends on, shade is usually defined as 2 to 4 hours of sun a day.
Okay.
So it'll just depend on, just make sure you get it in the right spot.
Got it.
Now, if it's a full sun basket like this, you're going to want to water it every single
I was going to
day.
ask how often do you water? It's okay for this sucker to be moist because it's
Yes.
raining constantly, correct?
Exactly, that's the
Okay.
thing. This thing drains all of its water out every time you water it.
Okay.
So it can't ever sit in water because it just drains out. So you really cannot overwater these, especially in the summers that we have in Colorado.
Yeah.
So water every single day, and it's best to water in the morning. And try not to get the plants wet. Try to just put your nozzle down in here and let the water soak in at the base right here. Because you don't want to get the plants wet. It's best not to.
Okay.
Really, they want the water at the roots, so try to do that. So water every single day. Now if it's like 100 degrees,
Yeah.
you may water twice in those days.
Wow. Okay.
So when it's like August or something and you notice that it's getting really dry, you may have to water twice. That's not usual. I've noticed I usually only have to water once a day as long as I soak it really well.
Yeah.
Now once a week you're going to want to mix fertilizer in like a bucket.
Yeah.
And I think it's 1 tablespoon per gallon of water.
Okay.
And you're going to want to fertilize it once a week. And that's really, really important. It keeps it green and it keeps it blooming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna take his ion.
Okay, I got it all full. So
Looking
now
good.
we would really soak this bad boy in, like you said. Now, if you have a spring storm, like we did
Like we did.
in Colorado,
And like we might again.
want to bring this sucker inside.
That's right.
And you could probably even have them in the winter too. I mean, it seems like this would do, or would this
Yeah, if
probably
you
die out
have a
by
greenhouse, if you have a
Okay.
greenhouse, you could do it. Or if you have like a sunroom, it could survive in there. But usually these are annuals, so they're kind of more meant to
we're
be
gonna-
replaced every year.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. But the beauty about it, depending on how this lasts, do you think you have to change out the basket each year? Can you save the
No,
basket?
I actually save my baskets. I mean, they'll last for a few years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other important thing to note is that this gets extremely heavy when you water it. Really, really heavy. So you may want to hang it up before you soak it in, like,
Got it.
because it gets really, really heavy.
And then you attach these after. They've got like little clips you can attach.
Do you have to hang it versus setting it in a stand on the deck?
Oh, okay. The question is, do you have to hang it or can you set it on a stand on your deck? And I think you can do whatever you want.
It's a very good question, and that's correct. You can do whatever you want to do. Just remember that it's going to drain right out. So if you don't hang it, make sure you put it somewhere where you don't mind the water just draining right out.
And do you want to get maybe a little drain, saucer underneath it to help with the draining? Or?
Yeah, you could. If you want to put it on your deck somewhere, then just put a saucer under it and just water it a little bit less. Yeah, heavy.
Heavy,
Just wait till you get water in there. It gets
wow.
crazy heavy. It's a good bicep
Good
workout.
workout, yeah. I love it. So beautiful.
But look how pretty it is already, and it's just
I love
gonna
it.
fill in and tumble over, and
Yeah, so by the end of the summer,
oh yeah,
just packed.
huge.
Oh, what
Mine
a
get
nice
to be
gift,
about 5
too.
feet around. They get huge.
You know, and you could almost do something like this too. We had put together an herb garden in the past. You could probably do herb gardens.
Yeah, you could.
Like this.
Yeah, a lot of plants lend themselves to being in hanging baskets. You just have to check the label.
Hanging baskets are our friends.
They are. It's a great
Love
way to
them.
use vertical space.
Yes.
You
And
wouldn't
they're
use that
beautiful.
space otherwise.
I know. All right. Any more questions? Are we good?
I think we're good.
We're good, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, Thrifty Chic Home. He's got his YouTube channel. We're going to put a link to it below, as well as Fix This YouTube channel. You can also find us at 9news.com/fixthis, and send us some things you want us to make in the future. We would love to do it for you on a Sunday morning. Bye, guys.
Bye.